Hello. Right, we're not on over here somewhere. Thank you. Hello, we're live again on. I know we're not supposed to use that word on the radio, but we are. We're here in person, 3:00 Monday. Never fail, except for last week. Addiction Recovery Hope and Resources. It's Heston Cherry, and I've got a couple guests with me today. And these shows go by so fast. I need to let them get their time in. I've got Ty. He has been on the show. He talked about softball recovery, sober softball league, and or clean softball league, or whatever it is, recovery softball league. Mm-hmm. And then we got Lawrence, who doesn't have a lot of time under his belt. This is a new show because I usually don't allow people to be a part of it unless they've got a year sober. But this topic about a sponsor and a sponsee is important, and we need to get a definition out there and let people know where to find a sponsor and what a sponsor is and what a sponsee is, and it's when you're fresh in recovery, you need to learn how to live life, because for so many years usually you didn't do it right, so you got to get some direction. But we're going to turn the time over to Lawrence, who has a passion for radio, so hopefully this will help him out in his life and excite him. But Lawrence is going to tell us about his story, where he's at, his short-term recovery, and where he plans on going, and then we'll get into the sponsor and sponsors thing. And welcome, Ty, and welcome, Lawrence. And Lawrence, I'll turn the time over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm super grateful to be here. I'm really excited. A little bit about me. I'm from Salt Lake City. My addiction started at a young age. It started at about 16. I got into alcohol, through high school, played sports and things like that. I didn't graduate high school. Parents went through a pretty bad divorce. And after that, I got into pain pills that started with a back injury. And, I took advantage of our family doctor, and I was taking Loratabs for a little while. And from Loratabs, it went to a little bit of the harder stuff, which was, Roxy 30s. And then from there, it went to, I was a heroin user and a meth addict. And for 2 or 3 years of that, I was an active IV user. And I hit rock bottom. I was in and out of jail. Just not the life that I wanted. It's just not where I want to be. And about 4 or 5 months ago, I was in jail, and I told my family I need help. I didn't want to be in this situation anymore. I wasn't happy with my life, and it was rock bottom. And I decided to do a geographical change and come down here to St. George and start a new life. And I've been in treatment, and it's been amazing for me.
Where'd you go to treatment?
Steps Recovery Center.
Nice.
Yeah.
They're local.
Yes.
They're good.
They're awesome.
Nice.
So
sounds like you were tired.
Yes, very tired. It's just, I didn't want that life anymore. And, I have hopes and dreams that I want to do from here on out, and I wouldn't trade it. This is an awesome life right now, and it feels amazing.
Yeah. How many days you got?
130 days.
Which I might add, earlier, it was when you were saying, like, he doesn't have a lot of time under your belt. Like, to the average person, 4 or 5 months, that's, not very long or whatever. But, to somebody who, that's a long time.
1 day is a long time.
Oh, yeah.
I should say that.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good point, because it is a long time. You've done great.
Right.
You've done great. Congrats.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
And every day, I feel like every day as it goes on, it just doesn't get easier. It just gets better. And so,
yeah,
4 or 5 months, that's a lot can happen, and especially once you stop using drugs.
For sure.
I moved down here to St. George also from Ogden, Utah. So I was Weber County, but the geographical change was exactly what I needed.
Yes.
And I don't even like going back.
No.
My wife's going up next weekend. I'm not going.
Really?
I just don't like it, but I need to be more nice to my wife. So tell us where you're at now. What's going on?
Right now, life's pretty good for me. I'm going to treatment, Monday through Friday from 9 to 3, and staying busy on the weekends, playing sober softball. I have a great job right now. in Zion National Park, working at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, just driving to work every day, I'm super grateful for where I work and what I'm doing, and I love my job.
Yeah.
You know, so.
How could you not go to that beautiful place?
Yes, it's gorgeous up there.
Got to make your morning every day, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
So, tell us more about you.
Let's see. I mean, I love sports. Obviously, you know my height. I love playing basketball. Try to stay busy with that.
It made me look teeny. I'm already small, and then we got you guys coming on.
Yeah. But right now, I notice when I have a lot of free time is when my mind starts going to that bad place. So I try to keep myself busy every single day. And I notice the more I stay active and keep myself busy, whether it's on the golf course or just playing sports or, you know, calling my sponsor.
Yeah.
You know, I have a great relationship with him. And I just try to stay busy with him too and reach out to him.
What a good segue.
Yes.
Maybe the show today is about a sponsor and a sponsee, and I'll break it down a little bit. Of a sponsor is someone that's been there, done that. Usually has over a year of recovery. It should have a year of recovery. I think it's standard in the field of recovery to be able to help someone. You should have at least a year sober, and they're a guide and someone that you bounce things off of, and that you check in with and you have accountability with, and then you've got the sponsee who is the person that's in shorter term recovery than the sponsor. Sometimes though it's 10 years and 9 years. It's not a big. I mean, you can always have your sponsor. It's not like they're just there for 1 year till you're 1 year and they're out. They're a lifelong friend. But those are who you bounce the questions off to. The sponsor, you'll call them, hey, I got this date. This girl wants to go on a date. Should I do it? And the sponsor, you're only 4 months clean. It's probably not a good idea. Why don't you just stay friends at this point or something like that? You know, I don't. First time I've met him, and I can see the sparks going off in your eyes. It is, man. You gotta check in with your sponsor about those things, and that's how, and then follow the direction. And so, tell us how you guys go about your day. You checking in? Ty is the sponsor. Lawrence is the sponsee. Break it down for us.
You want to go first?
Yeah. I'll
Where'd you meet? Where do you meet your sponsor?
So, Ty, I actually met Ty. He picked me up from when I first came to recovery for Steps. He picked me up from Salt Lake County Jail and transported me down to Steps here in St. George. And I had a great relationship with him just driving down. He was just I was really nervous about going to treatment, you know, and Ty was just super friendly, and I felt super comfortable with him right from the get-go. So
a sponsor, you want to have some like-mindedness. You want to feel like they're kind of have the same interests as you.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
And I hit it off with him, and then I saw him at a meeting, I think a few months later, and I needed a sponsor. I had my first sponsor, and it didn't work out.
Sure.
And the reason I say that is because I didn't feel comfortable calling him, and I didn't feel like we had anything in common, and it was just super uncomfortable for me. And then I saw Ty, and he would always share in meetings, and I liked what he had to share, and I feel like my story relates a lot to him, and we have a lot in common today. And I asked him to be my sponsor, and for the first couple months, it was a little rough. I didn't want to call him like he asked or do the things he wanted me to do. And today I know that
But you did it.
Yes, I still did it.
That's the key.
And that's the big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny you said that about the whole female thing, because that's the issue I run into, you know, is my problem is seeking validation from women, you know, and Ty is, you know, when I have an issue or something with a female, I call Ty, and I'm honest with him today, and I'm not afraid to ask Ty anything or talk to him about what's on my mind.
Yeah.
I can be honest, and that's the biggest thing, is you have to be honest, and there's nothing today that I would hold back from or not say to him.
It's a road to success. If in addiction, it's been such a taboo subject forever that, don't tell anyone their son's this, or don't tell anyone dad's doing this, don't tell anyone. It's our family, it's between us. But you got to be able to open up, and you've got to have someone to talk to. That's the secret to success. Not having secrets.
Yeah.
Not hiding stuff. Hey, this is me. I'm an open book. I got you. Help me out.
For sure. Yeah. And that's, that's what I want to say to Ty, is that I feel so comfortable with him, and I need to work the steps with him. That's another thing, is doing the 12 steps, and I believe in that. In treatment today, I'm on my 5th step, I believe, and I'm okay to share everything with him and let him know what's going on. You know? So,
and it's anonymous.
It is.
It's that he's someone that can be trusted, and you're not going to go to a dinner, a recovery dinner with a bunch of recovery people, and they're going to go, "Oh, Ty, Lawrence did this."
Yeah.
It's not. It's
No,
between you and him.
That's it.
It's a very what's the word for it? I mean,
confidential,
but it's something that people just. It's a line that does not get crossed in recovery. Mm-hmm. It's amazing how many people hold true to that. Mm-hmm. It's very important. Mm-hmm. So,
well, we know what it's like to be the cause of ourselves being on display publicly, and so anytime anybody else wants to talk about it or like blow that up or whatever, it doesn't sit well with us when people talk about us behind our backs or whatever, even though it might be stuff that's all true.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, you know what I mean? So it is, it's important to keep the anonymity there. And that's what I try to do. Like, so, I mean, first of all,
come on.
Yeah, get in here.
Come on, Tammy.
Yeah, we have to give a shout out to Tammy over here. She's in here.
She always has my back.
She's not on the camera, is she?
Nope.
But me, like, as a sponsor, honestly, I don't do anything that I, like, have come up with by myself. Like, I try to do what my sponsors have done for me. My first sponsor was when I was living up north in Utah County, and he was awesome. Like, he was, I mean, it was one of those things for me where, like, I don't know, when you ask somebody to be your sponsor, it's almost like having to ask another guy out on a date. Almost. Like, because it's like,
what if he says no?
Yeah, and they, like, I mean, people always say, like, oh, well, you go to meetings, you listen, you pay attention, you find out who you feel like is doing good, and then, you go and you ask them to be your sponsor. And so it was like this, like, nerve-wracking, like, and I don't know, like, I had this guy in mind because I had actually been cellmates with him in Utah County Jail several years prior. And then I ran into him in the meetings, was like, hey, how's it going? And he was telling me all about how he had like 2 years clean, and, he was like doing H&I, which is hospitals and institutions, where he would take Narcotics Anonymous meetings into jails and other hospitals and whatnot. So, like, I was just like, man, like, I knew that's who needed to be my sponsor. But it took, like, man, another couple weeks or a month before I was like, and it was like, palms are sweaty, walking up. Like, I was like, hey, man, will you be my sponsor?
Yeah.
And he was cool about it. Like, and, like, I kind of make light of the whole, like, it's almost like asking someone out on a date. But in reality, like, for me, like he, like Lawrence was kind of saying, he was my person that I could talk to stuff about and not be afraid of, like, other people that were close to me finding out. Because when I was in early recovery, when I was still in treatment, like where Lawrence is at now, you have your therapist. And it's even, like, sometimes it's scary to tell your therapist stuff.
Right.
And share stuff with your group because you might not get along with everybody in the group. And even family members, like, there's such a huge pressure to, like, rebuild your relationships with your family that it's like
it takes time.
You want them to know, like, how hard you're working, but there's really nothing you can say because we've lied to them for so long that anything we say is, it's like they're just like, yeah, okay, that's good. They want it, like you said, they want to see us doing good. And so, like, for me, my sponsor was somebody that, like, it became a level of accountability that was outside of any other circle that I had. Treatment, therapist, group, friends, family members, other work, anybody else that I knew. And it was somebody that I knew, like, he had been exactly where I had been. He had a sponsor before him, and he would talk about what his sponsor would do for him. And it was cool because like I could tell him stuff, and it was odd like telling him stuff that I wouldn't tell like people that are super close to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I knew it was like almost like a black hole for my truth, because
it's a way to get cleansed.
Yeah, for sure. And so and then I moved down here, and I have a sponsor down here now, and he is awesome. Like, and he is somebody that, like, I look up to him so much, and he is like I want to be like him, when I get to be his age. You know what I mean?
When I grow up.
Yeah. And, he's just like super caring, super compassionate, and like, I mean, I can call him whenever and talk about whatever, and just know that like he's just there to listen. He's gonna give me advice. He's gonna give me counsel, and like, I mean, there's times where, because I'm still going through my own stresses. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he'll reach out to me. Hey, how you doing? How's this going? Whatever.
Yeah.
So it's something
two-way street.
Yeah, it's just like I said, like it's.
I think you guys hit something very key to a sponsee part of it, and it's they need to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
I get asked all the time, will you call my son? Will you call my daughter? Will you call my brother or my husband? I can't call them.
Mm-hmm.
If they're willing to call me, tell them to call me. If they can make that call and ask for help, I can help them.
Mm-hmm.
But until they do it, there's nothing we can do.
Mm-hmm.
They're just going to deny until they're ready.
Mm-hmm.
But asking for help is key. And like you said, sponsee reaches out and sweaty palms and says, will you be my person?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the sponsor goes up and says, can I sponsor you? It's not that way.
No.
Yeah.
The person that's needing the sponsee, needs to approach that. It's part of learning how to do life and ask for help. It's so important to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
We all want to do, as men especially, we don't want, I don't need help.
Right.
I don't need help. I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
and you're falling on your face.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's important.
For sure. And that's what I want to just talk about is it was really uncomfortable at first to call him. You know what I mean? And that's where, I had a relapse before, my first relapse, but I bounced back. And I can tell you this time that calling him now and doing what I'm supposed to do has really helped me and put me where I am today. And it's just amazing. Like I have a great relationship with him, and I never would have thought it would have been like this today, but it's really neat to me.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
Let me ask you this. What are some, since now I'm going to put you on the spot, since we got a whole radio station worth of people listening. What are things that you struggle with it? Like for somebody else that's listening,
okay,
who knows that they need to have a sponsor, should have a sponsor, like talk about those struggles and like
giving up the white knuckle.
Yeah, like where you were at with that, where it's like I know I need to call him, I know I should have a sponsor, but it's nerve-wracking, it's whatever. Give some advice to that person or to people who aren't calling their sponsor anymore. Like, what do you struggle with?
So I think the biggest thing for me was just getting honest, like, the secrets that I had and not wanting to tell, you certain things. And that's really where I struggled was just the whole honesty piece. And I think, as long as you can do that and be honest with your sponsor, that's big. But another thing that's hard for me sometimes to this day with you, even when I reach out to you, is the feedback you give me. It's not always what I want to hear, but still I have to take that and, do what I can with it. And you tell me a few things that really stick for me, and it's kicking life on life's terms, just take it and run with it. Just kick it. And I love that. And I tell myself that every day, just kick it. And I still don't know a lot. I'm still early in recovery, but I can, all I try to do is put the next foot in front of the other and just take it a day at a time.
Yeah. So give us some, for instances, when you need to call Ty, maybe when your boss is on you or when you're at work at a restaurant and you might see alcohol.
Yeah. And that's hard for me too sometimes. I mean, at work, if I see alcohol or I see other people having fun or drinking, I'll reach out to Ty.
They think they're having fun.
They think they're having fun, exactly, and they're not. I don't miss that at all. I see what it does to them and, how I used to be. But I think another thing, too, is when I'm at treatment and a big thing for me is taking feedback. I'm learning today to not talk as much and just listen to what people have to say and learn from it.
And not reacting.
Yeah, because I have, I had a short fuses and I have a short temper, but today, yeah.
I would argue, though.
My wife's the one with a short temper in our house.
Right. That's why I'm not married anymore. But there's been several times that I can remember where like you'll call and we'll talk about stuff, and like any advice that I give you is like when we've talked about like anything that I've said it's not like it's completely new information that you haven't thought of.
Right.
You've thought of it.
For sure.
You know that that's what you should do.
Yeah, they have the answer.
Yes.
It's just hard hearing it from somebody else.
I think they say in recovery, first thought right or first thought wrong.
First thought wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also like, because I don't know, speaking of myself, like I remember same situation. Like, I mean, I would call with an issue or a problem that I was struggling with, and like I knew dang well what I should do.
You knew the answer?
Yeah.
I knew the answer, but it's like I didn't want other people to know that I knew the answer, because then I was accountable. Then I had to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like just calling and saying it.
Well, I think a good point of it too is we've talked about the 12 steps, and that's what worked for Heston. And I know there's other ways to do recovery, and that's okay. That's for them. But we're talking about the 12 steps a lot in here. But I think when you call your sponsor, they can walk you through. Well, it sounds like you're on step 3 right now, or sounds like you need to do step 8 and then 9 with this person. Sounds like you maybe need to go back to giving up your will or whatever. But that's sometimes the answer, and that's I always tell people I live my life numbers 1 through 12. I know where I'm at now. 5.5 years down the game, I know after. Sometimes it takes me a few days, being a crab and a reactive ding dong, but I get it, and I'm like, I need to just go do some service. I need to step 12. I need to do step 10 and do my inventory, I think that's what helps to have a sponsor, so they can program those numbers into your brain.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think with Lawrence right now, because he's still in day treatment and outpatient, whatever, and I know that he's working on his step work with his therapist and in treatment and whatnot. And so for me at this point, my approach to it is like, I mean, I don't want to try and
that's a good point.
like, oh, you're on step 5 with your therapist. Well,
yeah,
me and you, we're still on step 2, so let's whatever.
Yeah.
And so like for me at this point, I'm just trying to be an outside source of support, separate from treatment, separate from family, separate from friends, whatever.
That's a good point, because he's not through the steps yet.
Yeah.
No.
And so that like by the time he is done with treatment, it just keeps going on. You know what I mean? And then we start the steps over, so.
And one day at a time, you stay sober.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that's the goal.
Yeah. So.
We need to go golfing.
Yeah,
Sounds like you golf. I love to golf.
Yes.
Luckily, down here in St. George, we still can.
Yeah, right. So, do you have? Let me ask you this, Lawrence. Do you guys have a time set up where you call them first thing in the morning, or?
So I usually try to call him at night. We don't have a specific time, but I know that, as long as if I get a hold of Ty, every single day and talk to him, and I'm learning to, even if he doesn't answer, leave a voicemail and still text him. And as long as even if I'm getting a text from him, that means a lot to me. But I like to talk to him instead, and think it's a whole lot better than texting. Yeah. And that's where I struggled at first, is I would send him a text. And he's like, no, you call me. That was a big thing.
So you gotta learn how to communicate with people, because in my addiction, I didn't communicate. I didn't know how to do life on life's terms.
Yeah.
So to learn how to do that is hard, and it's uncomfortable. Everything in recovery is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
5.5 years in the game, and I'm uncomfortable doing 99%. But now I face my fears right off the bat. That's what I know, and it's a learned trait, though.
Yes.
And that's where you're at, is learning.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
And that's the thing. I try to learn something every single day. And even if I'm in treatment, I try to take something every single day and learn from it.
Yeah. I remember when I was about 4 months sober, and everything was a first. Like my first year and a half, everything was a first. Golfing sober, doing this sober. Going, for me, it was getting something in the church, or doing something You know, it was a first for me, and everything in life, it was cool. So it's fun to look back, and that's what helps. That's why sponsors, it doesn't just help the sponsee. It helps the sponsor too.
Oh yeah.
The person that's 1 day sober helps the person that's 10 years sober, and vice versa. We're all in it together, and that's where we get support. Is it's strength in numbers.
Right.
We're all on the same path, and we all help each other.
Yeah.
And I want to speak to that real quick because, like, for me, like, I get everything we're talking about here today. Like, I get strength and support from my sponsor, but like honestly, like having a sponsee. Like that, arguably, it might help me more than it helps you. You know what I mean?
Right.
I know that, like, by nature, it's me saying, hey, you should do this. You shouldn't do this. Try doing that, like, whatever.
Right.
But, like, for me, it puts me in a place of where I need to be accountable as well because, like, I've got to be able to give sound advice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like it helps me, like, 'cause I've got to stay fresh and I've got to stay, you know, on top of everything, and so like it helps me to like, and I don't know, I know I ramble a lot when we talk, but
I love our conversations though.
I feel like I don't know, I don't even remember a lot of the stuff that we talk about because I talk a lot, but like for me, like that helps me
for sure.
You know what I mean? So just being able to do that, so it goes both ways for sure.
And sorry, I was just gonna say I think it's cool that when you're struggling, you know, you can call me and I can help you and talk to you.
Oh yeah,
because that obviously means something to me that I'm, you know, like I can help you. And I just think it's great, the relationship we have, you know, Ty. I think you're a great person, a great friend, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here, you know?
for sure.
So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's good to see. And so to get a sponsor, you need to be willing to ask for help. You need to find someone that's like-minded or that when they talk or when they share in the meetings, you find them usually at the meetings. You gotta listen to, you know, you'll find that person that opens their mouth and they're saying exactly what you feel, and they have like same likes. I know Ty likes sports. Sounds like you like sports.
Yeah.
You know, someone that might like computers might deal better with some guy that's good with computers. It's a fit thing. Call it fit. You know, someone that's like-minded that can help each other, because there's nothing worse than two different personalities clashing to try to stay sober.
Sure. Yeah.
So, and then you need to stick with them, and it needs to be dedication, and you need to listen. You know, if I give you any advice, Lawrence, it'd be to follow everything Ty has. He's not trying to be Hitler, but the direction he gives you is what's going to help you to succeed in life, and then you'll be able to. I can tell you're a person that's going to be able to help thousands of people.
For sure.
You've got a good heart. You're here, and you're willing to share. Yeah. And that's what it's all about. That's you know, there's people that come in, they're sober within 6 months, and they never go to another meeting, and they can make it through life, you know, but they're not giving back. They're not the happiest people in the world. They're just kind of, but they're okay too. It's good that they're sober. I give them that. But the people that give back, man, you could give back.
And that's what I want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Truth.
Yeah, I really do. Yeah.
So that's why you got to just keep going, dude. Like, it's, you know what I mean? I'm proud of you. You've come a long way in the last 4 or 5 months.
Right.
You know, from before that last relapse and whatnot. And so, like, it's something that I can tell you've improved a lot. And just like, I mean, when you'd first start calling and you'd tell me stuff, like, I mean, there was just, I mean, nothing in particular, but like, I remember there was times where it was like, you'd tell me stuff and then I'd ask you a question and you'd be like, no. I'm like, you want to try that again? Like, okay, yeah, I did, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I don't care. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now it's like, it just.
Well, it's almost like for me, I had a habit of lying even when I didn't have to lie.
Right.
And so it was like, it was a 3-pound fish. Well, it was 2 pounds and 3/4. Now I'm so precise on exactly what things were, but it's such a habit, and we got to get used to, you know, yeah, you're right, I didn't need to lie like that. Promptly admit it.
I feel like your honesty has come a long way, and that's huge.
For sure. And I think if you're, you know, there's no need to lie, and if you're going to lie, like, it weighs on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and eventually you're going to have to come clean about it.
Yeah.
So
but it's practice and patience.
Yeah.
It's not like we just kick it all in one day and we're not going to mess up.
Right.
We mess up. I mess up all the time. I think about a few months ago, I had to go into the bank because I was crabby with a bank guy, and I had to every time I drove by the bank, and it was around the roundabout by my house, so every day I drove by the bank. I felt so bad the way I talked to the guy. I finally, after about a month and a half, I went in and I said, "I'm sorry." He said, "I don't even remember." I said, "Well, I do." So please accept it, but keeping it clear, we're gonna mess up, man. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you being willing to come on the show. You're doing amazing, and we can't wait to. We'll have you on again.
Awesome.
When you're here, and you can catch us all up to where you've been and where you're at. And Ty, I always thank you for coming on. And please, if anyone out there wants to be on the show, give me a call. This is the coolest thing in the world. Is people that are interested to share and want to help someone. Come on, I'd love it. Ask me to be your friend on Facebook.
Well, you're a good dude, Heston. I appreciate you having us. That's cool.
Yeah, Heston, thank you very much. This was.
Oh man,
I've always wanted to be on the radio and just be on a show, and
you got the radio voice. Yeah. That's cool.
But thanks a lot. It means a lot to me.
You're welcome. And all you listeners out there, please like, share, comment on our Facebook page, and on St. George Radio Facebook page or my personal one, and that's how we get the word out to more people. We've reached 30-something thousand people, and it's so cool in just 17, 18 weeks. So your support is appreciated, and we will see you or talk to you next Monday.